Hi there, Natalie with you today with a new process video for Pinkfresh Studio. And this time I want to give you some ideas on how to use your leftover pieces of the kit and to create a new layout. For this layout, I'm going to use the Just a Little Lovely collection, and I'm just left with a few pieces of the paper. So first thing I did is I cut the lovely square. I'm going to use the word lovely from the paper possibilities, and I cut it twice, and I also cut an offset that's going to create my title. But to create my background, I'm going to use the washi tape. This is called Rainbow with Splatters, and what I did is I attached the washi tape to a smooth cardstock, white cardstock, and then I'm going to use the Essentials basic label die set to create a series of hexagons out of this paper, and that's just going to give me an array of hexagons from different colors of the rainbow. And I really love the way this turned out because I had different combinations of colors, and my idea came actually from this paper. Is called Highlight, and it's a paper that has the beautiful purple blossoms on that side, but I'm going to use the B side that has the watercolor markings. And I really love this paper because it's going to help me position all the hexagons so that they follow the markings of the watercolor, and they're going to create a rainbow all around the page. So you're going to see that I'm going to start arranging the hexagons so that they match, kind of a tone on tone situation, so that they match the colors in the markings. So I'm going to pull those green and teals with the blue on the right hand side of the paper, and then I'm going to go into the purples, which is at the bottom left side of the paper. And you're gonna see that I'm playing with the different sizes of hexagons, but I'm trying to kind of create a beehive pattern, a broken beehive pattern. I'm not gonna fill the entire page. I just want to create little clusters of the colors based on the location of the watercolor marking on the paper. And this took me a while, just because, like I said, I had all these different combinations of colors in the hexagons. So I wanted to make sure that it's not going to be a perfect tone on tone, but I wanted to pull the colors from the background into the hexagons so that it creates a sort of a rainbow on the paper, and at the same time it's going to help me with the placement of the picture and the title. And I play with the clusters in such a way that I had the perfect spacing in the center to add my title and the picture, and that's why you see it there. It's gonna give me, like, it gives me a perfect it helped me to set up everything in place. Now that I have everything set and I took it off camera, play with the idea a little bit, a whole series of combinations, I'm gonna add some foam adhesive behind each one of the hexagons to attach them onto the background. It's just gonna create some lift, it's gonna create some interest on the paper, on the background, sorry, and it's also gonna kind of accent the hexagon shapes that I'm using. And again, took me a while because I'm gonna make sure that each one of my pieces has foam adhesive before I start continuing working on the layout. And you're gonna see that some of the hexagons are gonna run off the page, and that's okay. I do want to have that look as if the clusters are coming into the page. So all I did is, once I attach them, I'm gonna kind of turn the page and just cut the excess to make sure that the hexagons are flush with the line of the layout. And like I said, this took me a while, so you're gonna see that I'm gonna come in and out of the camera just because I didn't want to show you all the process. It did take me a while to build this. But once I have everything set, I'm going to start working. The layout's going to come together really fast once this gets done, because, like I said, by arranging the hexagons in that area, I had the perfect placement for my title. And my title, like I said, I cut it from the possibility paper. I cut it twice using the lovely square cut file. I just used the title, I cut it twice, and then I cut an offset of the word, because my idea is I'm going to glue the two word titles, I'm gonna say it, together, kind of layer them, and then I'm gonna use some foam adhesive to attach the title to the offset of the word, and it's just gonna make it's gonna pop it out, it's gonna make it stand out, even though it was cut from a white paper with some detail. Just by having that lift, it's gonna kind of help with the detailing of the word. And I think I'm going to use that in a combination of alphas to complete my title. So you're going to see right now, again, it took me a while just to create. I want to make sure that I add foam adhesive to all the little pieces behind the word, and there's like some thin lines, so it took me a while. But once I have it set on my cardstock, it just, after that, the project took no time to put together. So you're gonna see that this picture that I'm gonna document is one of my two kids. I have teenagers, and actually that's from last year. We went for a walk around our neighborhood. It was in the fall, and I converted the picture to black and white just because I don't have the colors competing. My son was wearing, I think, a blue jacket. My daughter's wearing a green jacket. So there's a lot of different colors, and I don't want anything competing. So I just transform it to black and white, and I can use all the colors in the background, do the work for me. So all I'm going to do is add some layers of paper from, again, I am working with the scraps here to just back the picture and create a little bit of a frame so the picture will stand out. And then I'm gonna set the title on the page and kind of nestle the picture in between the word, and that's just gonna kind of create a little cluster in the center of the page that has the title and my picture. After that, I thought about embellishing. I wasn't too sure what to do, and then I found the One Fine Day paper, and that's the one that has the beautiful black and white florals on the B side, and I'm gonna fussy cut a few of them. But before I do that, I'm gonna complete my title, and for that I'm gonna use the alphas from this collection. You're gonna see that my title is gonna read Lovely Day Together. So I use the cut file to cut the word lovely, and then I'm gonna use those beautiful white alphas to complete the word day, and then the watercolor mini alphas to put the word together, and I'm gonna stack them together. And after that, like I said, I'm gonna start embellishing the page, and I fussy cut quite a few of the black and white flowers from the One Fine Day paper. The same, these are all from the Just a Little Lovely collection, and the reason why I cut them is because the ephemera pack also has quite a few of the black and white flowers, and I thought that with all the color and having the black and white flower, it was just a coherent and a cohesive look for this layout. So you're gonna see that it took me a while to fussy cut them, and like I said, this layout is pretty simple, but to get to there, it took me a while to cut the pieces that put this together. So once I have them, I fussy cut a few of them. I'm gonna use them to create little clusters around the hexagon groupings, and I did not want to fill every single one of the spaces in between the hexagons. Instead, I'm gonna kind of create them at the put the flowers, or not create them, put the cluster flowers right at the end of the hexagon groupings. Kind of it's gonna create a small triangle that frames the picture, and you're gonna see that I'm gonna keep it very simple. I think a lot I don't want to make it too busy. I think there's a lot of color, there's a lot of interest, so I just want to add a few sentiments and kind of soften the angular edges of the layout with the florals. So once I set them in place, again, I just play with some of the formations. I just make sure that I tucked in the flowers a little bit underneath the hexagons, and I'm gonna add some foam adhesive between some of the layers just to create some movement, to create some dimension in the florals. And then I'm gonna bring a few embellishments. Again, when I started embellishing, I wanted to keep everything kind of on a tone and tone, and in this case it's not really tone and tone. I just wanted to group the colors. So you're gonna see that I'm at a little one of those little wooden flags where the green area, and I actually found the word that said you, and this is my two kids. And then I'm gonna bring one of the embellishment, the puffy stickers. There was one that says live an ordinary life that had the red and yellow tones, so I thought it was perfect to put on the top left corner where there's all that empty space. And then I found this wooden button in the embellishment kit, but I thought the button was sticking out too much out of the page, so my choice was to use my X-Acto knife just to peel off the epoxy hard, and I'm gonna glue it right on the top, right next to the puffy sticker that I have at the top. And just at the bottom, just because I have my title all stacked and it's gonna become really heavy, I'm just gonna add a small word sticker right underneath where I have all those flowers clustered. And after that, I added my lines of journal right next to the or not right next to it, sorry, right underneath the title. I'm just gonna use my fine liner to add all the lines of journal about us going on a walk. And to finish the layout, actually, if you see the paper, it has some markings of splatters of the different colors that are on the background. So I thought that just to accent the colors that I have in those areas, I'm gonna actually use the liquid watercolors just to splatter a few more droplets on the paper. So I'm gonna use one of my fine brushes, and I'm using the Pinkfresh liquid watercolor. I'm gonna use a clementine, I think it is, a sky blue. I use black, I use lavender, and also a little bit of aquamarine. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna use a fine tip brush and just go lightly. I don't want thick markings, I already have those. I just want light, kind of really tiny splatters around the areas where I have those colors. So like I said, the orange and the pinks on the left top corner of the layout, a little bit of purple lavender on the bottom of the layout, a little bit of aquamarine, and then I'm gonna finish it with some licorice, which is the black color from the liquid watercolor set, sorry. Just because I have all that black, and if you see the paper, it has like some markings of black, so I'm just gonna make sure that I continue the look, but I want to accent the color. After that, that's pretty much my layout. I love how this turned out. I love the combination of the rainbow. I love the shape of the hexagons. I just love how this came together. Like I said, it took a while to get the formation, but after that it was pretty simple. There's some close-ups showing right now. You're gonna see how beautiful the washi tape is. I think it's perfect to do a card, but it's also, it works really well on a layout too, so make sure you try those things out. And as always, if you have any questions on how this came together, don't hesitate to contact me. You can hop onto the blog to see more details on how this came together and another project. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.